You may have heard a little of this, but there is a newspaper in Florida that has issued an apology to its readers because it said it didn't do enough to curb its own biased coverage against Donald Trump. Now, a little late maybe in the game, but perhaps some of these people are starting to realize if you're dealing with a criminal cabal on the opposite side, that perhaps you were playing for the wrong team all along. This past week as well, there was a newspaper editor in Montana who pretty much said the same thing in the pages of his newspaper. And if you check out my column tomorrow in the Magic Valley Times News, I reference that. But suddenly, out of nowhere, you're starting to see these people come out and say, "Wow, yeah, we helped ruin the country. We hope you keep buying our product following Election Day." Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa. Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310, KLIX and NewsRadio1310.com. Donald Trump went to a speech last week, and jokingly, as he got up in front of the crowd, they were cheering, he smiled, and he said, why don't I just forget about Election Day and give it to me now? And people said, Donald Trump. And the reporters all breathlessly started tweeting out, Donald Trump says he should just be given the presidency. How dare he? It was a joke. It was a joke. And they've done this to him all along. When he said that Barack Obama was the founder of ISIS, he didn't mean Obama was literally the founder of ISIS. The president didn't fly over to that part of the world. So Donald said, I've got an idea. I think you should all band together and burn your enemies in cages. No, he didn't mean that. He meant that Obama's actions in that part of the world led to the growth of ISIS. The media couldn't help them, and they knew better. They knew better, but they are so deeply in the tank for Hillary Clinton. Better to spread the lie than the truth. Mediaite has this today. Early this evening, and they're writing from yesterday, early this evening, CNN tried to catch Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump in a heavily compromising position over comments he made at a rally in Colorado. There was only one catch. Trump didn't say what they thought he said. And when the network realized the mistake, they tried to stealthily cover it up. And then there's full details here in tweets from CNN and about how they tried to change the headlines and the like after already letting the story get out. And, of course, a lot of people will never see the correction. What Trump did was he was trying to explain to some of his voters in Colorado who are taking part in early voting. He was trying to tell them, if you make a mistake, go back and tell, the election, the poll watcher, whatever office you're dealing with, and they will help you out and you'll be given a new ballot. CNN was trying to say that he was encouraging people to vote twice. Not at all what he said. But they don't care over at the Clinton News Network because this well runs into their narrative that Donald Trump he's the bad guy, that he is somehow the criminal, when indeed it's the projection of what his opponent is all about. Now, that's not alone. The Denver Post went ahead and did the same thing. One of the biggest newspapers in the western United States made the same claim. And I read the story in the Denver Post from yesterday, and guess what? The headline gives you the impression Trump is encouraging people to do that, but as you read down the story, you discover that's not at all what he said, and you find that there were many Democrats who were interviewed at this Trump rally who decided to come out and show up because they no longer can vote for Hillary Clinton. That should have been the headline, but it wasn't. The headline was the lie. The headline was done because they know a lot of people don't read beyond the headline, and that by putting that headline in there, they could once again skew the public's attitude before they go to the polls. 10 minutes after 9 o'clock, Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310, KLIX, and NewsRadio1310.com. It's 46. Telephone number for reaching our show today, 736-0300. That's 736-0300. MSDNC on Morning Joe this morning. You could almost see in the John Holloman and the face of the plagiarist of Mike Barnacle. They were nearly in tears because of what their girl has done. And then they showed video from a Trump rally, and somebody's holding up a rainbow sign that says "Gays for Trump." And nobody there mentioned anything on air about what that might mean. But if I get a moment, in a couple of minutes, I'll bring it up and I'll tell you a story here. And it shows you what we're dealing with when it becomes clear and evident what the American left is really all about. We have a caller with us. Caller, you're on the air on KLIX. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bill, my son has a band, and he was playing in Portland, Oregon, in a downtown area that was nice, and there was, lots of people there, and apparently in this area there's a gay neighborhood, and there was a group of gay men there, and my son walked over to him, and he said they heard him talking about politics. He just walked over and he says, "Well, who you voting for?" "Well, we're not voting for Hillary." So that was an interesting insight. And then another quick thing, and I'll hang up. There, as the Trump campaign flies over the nation, they said they've never seen this before, where they have crop signs in the fields that say Trump, and it was just an interesting thing. I'll hang up. Thanks.
And I've talked to a lot of people who are living in heavily blue states, that is, where there are a lot of Democrats, and they're telling me they're seeing Hillary Clinton may have a lot of support. It's very wide but very shallow. And that could be the dangerous part of all of the latest headlines for her. As Randy Staples said, there's no evidence these emails found on Wiener's computer are hers. They're home evidence, but they're because of Hillary Clinton's home brew server. This is a story from Breitbart. Gay thought police like Soviet-era bullies. At a Donald Trump rally, the writer says, in Cincinnati on October 13, Wall Street Journal video reporter and senior producer Jason Bellini interviewed a gay couple who are both supporters of the GOP candidate. Although Bellini didn't initially name them, a gay activist later outed the duo. And guess what's been happening? In a follow-up report, the couple told Bellini they have received death threats from gay people, warning them not to leave their house or go to any gay clubs. One message to them, they say, told them to drink bleach. They've also been accused of not actually being gay because they're supporting Donald Trump. Does he have that effect on people? Is there like a conversion therapy when they go hear him? Seriously, folks, I've never heard Donald Trump say anything negative. The one knock on him by a lot of people in the Christian conservative movement was that Donald he's not into the social issues. So why would voting for Trump be a stain against your community if you are indeed gay? Because of all the Republicans who were running, maybe Rand Paul was the only other one who would be so accepting of that community. And yet they're threatening each other because how dare they go to a Trump rally? You're up next. You're on the air with Bill Colley on Top Story. You were pretty close, but you missed. 736-0300. That's 736-0300. Bill Colley with you this morning on News Radio 1310 KLIX and newsradio1310.com. That means you can listen to us live anywhere all over the world by going to our website and clicking on the Listen Live icon. Our temperature, man, we're at 47. We're only supposed to be a high of 49 today, so we're practically there already. 9:15, and let's go back to the telephones. You're up next, and you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the legality of when Hillary gets in. Apparently bringing illegals across the border and fixing the voting machines like down in Texas and on and on. They're just trying to get her in there. So when she gets in, what's the legality saying that she can't put a stop to all of the investigation about voting tampering? What's the law saying that she can't go to jail from there?
Well, thank you for the call. I think she probably is. Somebody is going to jail. Of course, she could join a lot of them if we could lock them up for breaking our laws, too. Thank you for the call. I have a feeling that if Hillary Clinton is elected after this latest bit of news, and it's only going to get worse. There was a story, and it didn't get a lot of attention. I happened to see it fleetingly last week on a website. Apparently, a leading general has cautioned his troops, telling them that if she's elected, to remain calm. In other words, in these third world countries where they often have these coups on a regular basis, in order to try and prevent them, they often order the troops to remain in their barracks. In other words, if they get out of their barracks, then we can't keep track of them. Then they'll bring their tanks down the main thoroughfare, down to the presidential palace, and they'll boot that guy in favor of someone new. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The warning is there is so much concern among some people in the military that the troops will not accept crooked Hillary's election as president of the United States, and therefore they would leave Fort Meade and some of these other installations in the immediate Washington area, and they'll go rolling down Pennsylvania Avenue in their armored vehicles and tanks, point the barrels at the White House doors, and tell her to get the heck out. Did you hear that anywhere else? Because I haven't. As I say, I saw the headline fleetingly, caught a few paragraphs of the story, and then my telephone rang and I had to take a call, and you get busy and you don't get back to certain things. But if there is that deep a concern right now in the military about a reaction, about a coup attempt if she's elected, then it tells you right now there are a lot of people in the military who understand that that her election itself and what she's got planned would be a coup, and that they've got to stand up and prevent it to save the republic. 9:18. Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX, newsradio1310.com. Back to 45. You're listening to Top Story this morning. And here's the thing. It's the way the Clintons are now trying to discredit various people. Not only are they going after James Comey, you realize how this hurts the institution of the FBI by what they're doing, because they're salivating over the fact that they think they're really close to grabbing the power in Washington and turning this country into the socialist paradise they think it should be, and enriching themselves while they're at it. They are willing to destroy not only Comey, but the FBI as an institution itself. The Wall Street Journal says all of a sudden Hillary Clinton and her presidential campaign have discovered the virtues of transparency. And all of a sudden, FBI Director James Comey, formerly Eliot Ness in the eyes of Democrats and the press, is now J. Edgar Hoover. And the writer goes on to say, that means Mr. Comey, who over the weekend became the latest stand-in for the vast right-wing conspiracy. The writer says, look for more to come as Democrats attempt to mobilize their supporters to vote by turning Mr. Comey into Whitewater prosecutor Ken Starr. This won't be easy since Mr. Comey was appointed by President Obama, and Democrats have spent so many years praising Mr. Comey as St. James of the Beltway. This is the nature of the people who are running that political party. This is the nature of the Clinton family. This is the nature of the media to help and give her an opportunity to amplify this. We have come to a crossroad in this country, and you are going to be asked to make a choice. Are you for the survival of the republic, or are you against the survival of the republic? Bill Colley with you on Top Story this morning on News Radio 1310, KLIX, and newsradio1310.com. We've got more on the way. I've got plenty more on this topic. I don't know where it's going to end. It just seems that the news is bad just about every day any longer. When I was a college student, I took part in a production of a play called The Cherry Orchard. Why am I bringing that up? Because the play is about the final days of the Russian Empire for the Russian Revolution, and it's about a family, and this family, not necessarily wealthy, not poor, but they've led a good life, and they're oblivious to the fact that the world is changing so rapidly around them. They're missing all of the cues. And it ends up with disaster. I mean, disaster is coming, and they just simply, they have no idea. And I think it sums up this country in calendar year 2016, because those people in that play represent the elites. And I don't think the elites have any understanding or comprehension exactly what's going on between the coasts in the United States. And that what a lot of people are going through is truly that people are going through life-changing, fearful events. And the elites who live in their big homes in the Beltway or in the suburbs of some of the trendier cities in this country don't have any idea. And they don't care. I mean, some conservatives even wanted to say that, well, if put down your crack pipe or your meth pipe and then move if you can't find a job in West Virginia. Well, what if your family's been in West Virginia for 6 generations? You don't want to pack up and leave. And yet, the elitists in both parties tell you, well, I don't know what your problem is. I want to point out if you're listening to our program today, it's because it's appointment radio for you. But if you're struggling to listen to it, you need to call the good folks at Mount Harrison Audiology in Rupert, where Dr. Christine Pickup, of course, is looking out for you, and she'd like to open your world to new sounds and experiences. A new hearing device is available, and this works with the brain to help those with hearing loss hear more naturally than any previous aid on the market. And she's offering a free 2-week trial with these new devices. You can call today and schedule your personal fitting appointment. Open your world to better hearing. Call Mount Harrison Audiology. The telephone number, 312-0957. That's 312-0957. I bring this up today because when we were talking with Randy Staples in the last hour, I referenced the fact that we're hearing a lot of discussion that some of the Republican elites are not backing State Representative Heather Scott. She is in the northernmost district of Idaho, and they're all blaming these people who've resettled in northern Idaho, and they're calling it the redoubt. These are a lot of retired law enforcers and emergency medical technicians and firefighters from various parts of the country who no longer want to be involved with dealing with a big bureaucracy, and they want the quiet and peacefulness of Idaho, and they want to be left alone. And the elites say, well, they're not representational of Idaho's values. Well, what are Idaho's values? They're already somewhat libertarian and conservative, aren't they? They're already against big government, aren't they? And all of the elitists among the Republicans have been preaching all of this for a long time. They come and they'll show up at a public meeting and they'll say, I'm a conservative. Ronald Reagan, 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 Ronald Reagan. See, I'm a conservative. I said his name a lot. And they feel, oh, gee, I said Ronald Reagan's name. They'll all come out and they'll vote for me. Actually, speaking of the Russian Revolution, there's an old photo in a book I have at home which shows the Tsar speaking to some of his troops. And he's holding up a religious icon, and they're all taking a knee and bowing in front of the religious icon. It's the same idea. I'll just say Ronald Reagan's name. Maybe I'll hold up his picture, and they'll all think, hey, he's a conservative too. We'll vote for him. But these people aren't really addressing your concerns. And I think that that there's no way that, we've had people relocate here who want to come to Idaho because they feel it's a good place to live and they won't be messed with by big government. But they haven't come in numbers that large to swing an election, which means that Heather Scott is winning a lot of votes from traditional Republicans, but they're not your country club Republicans. They're not the swanks, if you will. They're not the swells. They're regular people out there, and the party leadership still hasn't been able to grasp that. They don't know why Donald Trump got the nomination, and yet he did. You would think that would have been evident, that they would realize that there's an undercurrent out there of people who are really, really angry. I'm cleaning that up a little bit. And they still don't seem to be able to grasp that. But there's wishful thinking in media in this state that keeps saying, oh, there's a Democrat running against her, and that Democrat's going to show her. Well, I got news for you. The Democrat is going to likely go down in flames in defeat. But you meet a lot of these Republicans, and they'll say, well, I'm a pragmatic voice. People here in Idaho believe in pragmatism. Not that I've seen. In other words, I'm going to go up to Boise, and I'm going to work across the aisle with the Democrats. Well, there's only like 10 of them. Why do you have to work with them at all? Well, because we do compromise here. Yes, we do. You don't need to, though. Well, yes, but it's a good thing to do compromise. But your voters don't want it. Well, some of those voters, they need to have someone look into their skulls then. No, maybe we need to look into yours. And I've heard it all along. I've seen people out there this year who still walk along with their nose in the air and confidently, even though they've had people who are borderline psychotic get a third of the vote against them in primaries, and they still seem to think that, well, this is a temporary affliction because after this election, no matter the results, we're going to reimpose our typical template on them, and they'll fall into line. We'll give them Mitt Romney again in a few years, and they'll like it. Yeah, again, you people have missed the boat. It's 9:30. Right now it's 46. Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310, KLIX and newsradio1310.com. Some of your telephone calls are on the way in just a moment.